Hi everyone and welcome to the fifth Evolve Exchange. My name is Sally Guess. I'm a high performance coach, author and event planner. The Evolved Exchange is all about exchanging information, inspiration and education with unbelievable people who have dedicated their lives to developing human potential. And I'm really excited today to introduce you to the amazing Carolyn Coffin from the Eat Real Food Academy. Not only is Carolyn an amazing woman and businesswoman, she is also a former client of mine and now a very good friend. So we're just going to have a little bit of a chat today about the Eat Real Food Academy and also kind of tie in the experience that Carolyn had through coaching with Evolve Living and the results that she has managed to achieve as a result of going through the Evolve Leadership Program. So thank you so much for being here today, Carolyn. And maybe we could start by you sharing your vision and mission, because that was something that we actually landed together in the coaching program. So go crazy.
Absolutely. Well, I just wanted to say that I'm really excited to be here, so excited to be here, and so grateful to you for everything that you've helped me achieve, which I know we're going to get into talking about today. So, my vision, I envision a world where people experience extraordinary health and they maintain it. And I think we share that maintenance or sustainability piece of it in common for sure. But everything I do, my mission in life and in my business is to empower people to make the intuitive daily choices that they need to make that's going to kind of unleash their healthiest self. So to make those intuitive daily choices that lead to almost that liberation that so many of us are wanting to experience around our health, because so many people, I think, feel really chained and controlled by food and just the disease or illness or just yucky fatigue feeling that they feel all the time. And it really doesn't have to be that way. I really think all of us are sort of born healthy and that we just somewhere along the way get in our own way. So I just help people kind of get out of their own way and put one foot in front of the other and feel great.
Amazing. So, I mean, I absolutely love your vision and mission because, number one, personally, like I completely subscribe to it and completely identify with it. But also because it was such an exciting moment for us in the coaching program when we landed it, because it
Absolutely.
finally put into words what you're here to do.
Yeah.
So maybe just explain to everyone how that vision and mission has manifested into the Eat Real Food Academy, because that's your business and that's where you're driving your vision and mission forward.
Yes. So first, I want to say I think so many people can relate to this. So I think I really want to highlight, like, I just felt like I had no clarity around my vision and mission. So I was working really, really hard. I had this sort of probably more than just a vague sense. Like I had a sense that I was really here to help people experience extraordinary health for themselves, whatever that means to them. But I had no clarity. I had no idea what my vision was. Like I couldn't put it into words. There was just so much confusion around it. So I just was, I felt like spinning my wheels all the time, working really
Mm-hmm.
hard, but not really getting any traction with anything. And as soon as you and I landed that vision and mission piece, it was like, oh,
Yeah.
like everything just became crystal clear. And then I could take all of my phenomenal energy and direct it like in the right direction, just direct it with purpose and intention. So anyways, what that landed for me was the business that I know right now called the Eat Real Food Academy, where it's really an education business. Like I'm educating people on how to be their healthiest, best self in terms of their nutrition, their fitness, their lifestyle. Because I really think those are some of the key foundations of good health for every single person living on the planet. Um, So I've what you helped me start particularly was this coaching side of things for me. So I had been already educating in more of a group sense. So I teach an online course, but I've really developed my one-on-one coaching business because of you. So it's been so fun and so exciting. And I've got a full roster of clients at the moment. It just gives me, it's like an everyday source of joy for me to work with them and see them putting one foot in front of the other, just the way you help me put one foot in front of the other, and help them get clarity around what their best health means to them. And it's just so exciting.
That's so cool. And it's absolutely amazing to see because if we go back to the very beginning of the program, there was a point, and I'm sure you won't mind me sharing this, there was a point where you weren't even entertaining working with people one on one.
There was, yes. I had all this self-doubt and inner critic stuff going on, like who's ever going to want to hire me, and I'm only available in the day when my kids are at school, and that's not going to fit anyone's lifestyle. All these reasons of why it wasn't going to work for people, and I was very disconnected from that passionate part of me that wakes up in the morning just driven by this sense of wanting to really help people and connect with people, and forgetting, I guess, or being disconnected from the idea that there are people that can work with me in the day. You know, there are people that would pay to have and experience extraordinary health. So
absolutely.
And just really like getting the 6 inches between my own ears, like out of my way and fully aligned, so that I can focus on those things instead of the negative things.
So what was it in the end that bridged the gap for you and allowed you to put yourself out there to coach one on one, which was something that you weren't even entertaining in the beginning, and now you've got evidence galore because hello, you've got like a full roster. Like I just cannot. I'm just so proud of what you've achieved. So I'm
Well,
sure it's not any one thing, but
well, I wish I could tell you that it was, oh, I finally started believing in myself and all of these inspirational things, which I guess it was, but it came about indirectly in the sense that these people, without me even advertising that I do one-on-one health coaching, people started contacting me. So the evidence was showing up not because of something that I had necessarily done, maybe, but people started requesting, hey, can you coach me? And I was like, oh, this is so cool. Like this is happening. And I haven't even put myself out there as a health coach. So maybe, I guess in retrospect, I'm thinking maybe I had glimpses of that in my mind, and the evidence just started to show up when it was ready.
cool. And I mean, you and I, not just with your vision and mission, but we do share a very similar philosophy. I mean, as you know, at Evolved Living, we talk about connected mindset and the optimal mind-body connection, uh, optimized physical input, which is around the nutrition, which is absolutely your passion,
Mm-hmm.
and then the plenty of physical output. And
So my
as a
passion.
runner, that is another passion of yours. And then obviously keeping your tank full with the mind body restoration. So it was really, really interesting for me when you came on board because at the end of the day, like you really do have the physical input and the physical output sorted. And really, you've got pretty optimized mind body connection.
Mm-hmm.
And there were maybe a few tweaks here and there with the mind body restoration, kind of bringing in a little bit more meditation or, taking time out for a bath for yourself and getting someone to help with the kids or whatever. Uh, but the big one really was the mindset, wasn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. The mindset was such a huge piece. And just, I always, and I think that's actually what makes me able to relate to my clients so well because I understand how much your mindset plays into the results that you get in your life. And where the places where I struggled were maybe more around my business, what I see for the people that I'm working with is that the places they struggle are around their physical input and their physical output. So that's just how their disconnected mindset is showing up for them. So I can totally relate by putting myself back in the situation I was in just, 6 or 8 months ago and seeing how far I've come and being able to then apply that to the person I'm working with to be able to help them put one foot in front of the other and bridge that gap.
So when you came into the program, you had done quite a lot of work on yourself. You'd read a lot of books, you'd been to conferences. I mean, you've obviously got a lot of knowledge when it comes to, nutrition, fitness, what you need to do to create an abundant and successful life.
Yeah.
However, you hadn't quite landed the sustainability piece in terms of your results. So what was different about the Evolve Leadership Program that you hadn't experienced before, having done, and read quite a lot of work before?
Well, I think that it was the part that you talk about the reconnection process.
Mm-hmm.
So we had landed a few of my own motivators, which I'm not sure how familiar your viewers are with this process that you have, but my core motivators, or what gets me up in the morning, is love, passion, and freedom. And then this reconnection process was for me to become uber aware of how often I was operating in a really disconnected state from those three things. And so my awareness became so much I became so much more aware of how often I was operating this disconnected state. But I guess to answer your question, the piece for me that really landed with Evolved Leadership is that I have a choice. I can choose to reconnect to love, passion, and freedom when I'm feeling overwhelmed, stressed, and frustrated and dumb, because those would be the things that would always come up. Like when I had to identify what am I feeling right now, it was overwhelmed, stressed, frustrated, angry, and dumb. And recognizing that I had a choice to not feel those things and reconnect to love, passion, and freedom, that was a big aha moment for me.
And it was such an extraordinary thing to see as well, because going from where you were at the beginning with the overwhelmed stress, etc., for you to finally land that that is not the truth of who you really are,
Yeah.
and that you are friggin' love, passion, and freedom, it was just so exciting. And didn't it really just kind of happen over a couple of weeks, 2 to 3 weeks, and then all of a sudden you went from like, still doing the overwhelm, still doing the stress, still kind of, yeah, I'm dumb, which we clearly can tell is not true, to being on fire and really getting that one-on-one program off the ground.
Yeah, for sure. It was so cool. It was so cool because I guess I just become so accustomed to those feelings. And I just thought to achieve anything in my life, I have to go through this whole process of being overwhelmed when I don't. I can choose to just look at what I'm trying to accomplish and accomplish that or approach that from always a connected state. And whenever those feelings arise, which they still tend to do, I notice them again. Oh, there's overwhelm again. What's really going on here? I'm disconnected, right? And then what can I do to reconnect? Okay, cool. Let's go.
So would you say that you are unrecognizable to yourself now as opposed to who you were at the start of the program?
Absolutely.
In what way?
Um, I'm unrecognizable to myself in the sense that I I can see, like I said, I do sometimes still feel those feelings, but I can see them for what they are. Instead of something that I feel like I have to work on or another book that I have to read, I know that I can literally just I see that default setting that I kind of adopted in my early life, I guess. I can see that for what it is and choose something different for myself. So I think that in itself is so huge. Um, and then of course, the more I can be committed to applying that process, I I start to I'm just a happier person. I can just be a lot more on fire in every area of my life.
Yeah, and I think, I mean, the evidence is clearly there because you literally have gone from, doing some great online programs at the Eat Real Food Academy. I mean, unbelievable content that comes out,
Mm-hmm.
but, that was your offering, and now you've got a variety of offerings because another thing that you achieved on the program was writing your first ebook
That is right.
and
That is,
publishing it. So maybe tell everyone a little bit about that because it's a great book.
yeah. Okay. So I, all this for years, I felt like, oh, I know I want to write a book. But again, I let confusion come into the way. Like, how am I going to do that? And what am I going to write about? And so you sort of that overwhelm that I was so used to, like, let it just sort of paralyze me and always put it to the back burner. But something inside me was like, no, I have something to write here. So I I came up with a title actually first, which is a sort of a funny story. So I'm like, oh, I know what I want my book to be because I want it. I wanted the title to be the top 5 mistakes even health conscious people make because that's the thing I'm always having conversations with people about and hearing the way that they're approaching their extraordinary health. And I'm kind of like, oh, I think you're making it too hard on yourself. Like that's sort of always what I'm chatting with people on. And so I thought, I really want to make this book, Top 5 Mistakes Even Health Conscious People Make, to highlight some of these really common mistakes that we all make. And frankly, the reason I can write that book is because I've made them all myself, right? So,
Yeah.
so I start jotting down the chapters, like the 5 chapters, and lo and behold, I have 11.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, the top 11 mistakes even health conscious people make. That doesn't sound very good. So I like pare it down, try to get it down to 5, and I just couldn't. And so the book is called The Top 7 Mistakes Even Health Conscious People Make. And it was so fun to write because I'm just drawing on my own experience. I'm drawing
Mm,
on my own life apprenticeship. I'm drawing on the people that I've worked with in our online course and in all of the other things that I've done and in my past life as a physiotherapist and so it's just really, really fun to write. But that was a huge goal of ours because as I realized my own kind of, I got in my own way again writing the book because I would sit down and I have all this info in my head and I'm just like trying to get it all out. And then I was trying to write it like too scholarly, like too
yeah.
pretentious and too like teacher pupil kind of thing. And it's like, no, I just need to write this book like the way that I talk, you know?
Yeah.
So it's very conversational, but that is all to do with your guidance because I would send you the chapters and hey, what do you think? You're like, nope, back to the drawing board, which was frustrating, but at the same time, I could see that frustration for what it was. And I'm like, I know she's right because deep down, I don't feel like that's it either. Back to the reconnect, back to the drawing board, and then I could bang out the chapters quite easily. So it was a really interesting process to go through with you. And I think the final product ended up being something quite worthwhile. It's a free download from my website, eatrealfoodacademy.com. There's a you just put in your name and email address and the book gets emailed to you and it's a quick read designed to be a quick read, so I think it's less than 30 pages and you can sort of get an idea of, hey, I'm making that mistake too, and I give you little quick tips like try this at home at the end of each chapter to if you've identified, hey, that's something I'm doing, then you can just try the quick tip to help get you pointed in the right direction. So
Yeah. Oh, I love the book. And, I mean, when I did send those chapters back, it was, I could see in the writing that you were writing it from a disconnected place. And
Yeah,
as soon as you applied what you knew beyond your default identity, like that's when the magic happened. Connect in, and then wow, like the end result was amazing.
yeah.
So, given the unrecognizable results you've had, and you've absolutely just flown and been on fire since you stopped the coaching. So, so far so good, sustainable results,
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
Who would you, knowing who you are, who would you suggest would be the right fit for a program, the Evolve Leadership Program?
Oh, okay. So I think this program is perfect for virtually everyone I hang out with. This is people who are um, driven, accomplished. They've achieved quite a high degree of success in their life. They've got the awareness. They have that niggling feeling like something is not fully right here. Like they're getting results, but it feels hard. Those are the people. Those are the people who are just made for this program because you just kind of get them out of their own way again.
Mm. Yeah, and well, they get themselves out of their own way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. I mean, all I was really doing was holding space for you so that you could step into your greatness, and that
Yes.
is, I think, the power of the program. I'm not kind of telling you what to do. I'm
No.
giving you some tools, and if you apply them, the results are extraordinary, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And the accountability piece too, I think is key for so many of us. And
Hmm.
it's certainly key in what I do with people. I think, as you say, you're holding space for that person. I know that everyone can be extraordinarily healthy, but I have to hold space until they believe it for themselves.
Mm.
And how do you do that? You make some crazy goals with them and then you get them to put one foot in front of the other. It's not rocket science, but it's so interesting to me how in the areas where you tend to have trouble or have struggled in the past, I know you don't like that word struggle, but have struggled in the past, it's so interesting how hard it can be to apply what we may know in another area that we're getting
Mm.
results in our life.
Absolutely. So, as we wind up, this has been great, and as I say to everyone I interview, because I just love the people that I interview, I'm totally going to get you back on, and we'll have a lot more of a nutrition focus next time. But any kind of parting observations or comments or anything you'd like to add, uh, just in terms of your results within the program?
I think it's really important to keep in mind for all of us that we have no idea how much potential we have.
Mm-hmm.
All of us have so much untapped potential. And so if there's an area in your life where you're not getting the results that you know you could get, that's where, our tendency, I think, is to run away from those things.
Mm.
But as you say, that's when you actually have to go in. That's
Yeah,
that's your window of opportunity or your access point.
yeah.
So it's all those things that we tend to run away from, procrastinate on, push to the back burner. Those are our access points to true transformation. And to have someone supporting you along the way, like you supported me along the way, and now I support my clients along the way, is invaluable.
Mm. Absolutely. And I mean, all I can say, it was an absolute privilege to work with you. Absolutely loved the good, bad, and the ugly. It was just such a phenomenal journey.
There was some good, bad, and ugly, wasn't there? But I think getting to know yourself is critical if you want
Absolutely.
to kind of take your health performance to the next level.
For
And
sure.
I mean, you are just a master at what you do. So I
Well,
can't
thank
thank
you.
you.
Well, huge congratulations for everything you've achieved, and I highly recommend anyone that is interested in creating extraordinary health with a focus on nutrition. But also, I mean, you've got such a wealth of knowledge to apply in terms of physical output, exercise, etc. as well. Like, just love you. You're awesome, Carolyn. So thanks so much, and we'll get you back on sometime in the future.
Thank you so much for having me. This was really fun.